Also, this might be a cold opening, y'all. I think it's Jeremy Renner's birthday.
Is that true?
No, I feel like somebody was wishing him a happy birthday, but like maybe Jeremy.
Jeremy Renner, January 7th. So
come on,
so close.
Not
so
even
close.
Not even
Then
close.
I think then Mark Ruffalo was a nice friend and posted like happy opening Hawkeye Day, Jeremy.
Hey, Kevin and Kristin.
Hey,
guess what?
Hey,
I was
Mike.
recording that whole time. That was a natural cold open. Let's kick it off with the opening credits.
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you should know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
And Mike is here too.
Yeah, I don't. Nothing rhymes with Mike is the problem. So it's
nothing.
Nothing rhymes with Mike.
The fact that they rhyme something with Kristin is what makes that song really exciting for me.
It's the best. It really is.
Welcome. We're back.
Woo!
We haven't gone anywhere.
No, we haven't.
I am one of your 3 hosts now, Kevin Reagan. With me
I'm a second host, Kristin Finger, and as always, we have a third host.
Well, I am actually host the 7th in a long line of Armands. My name's Mike, everybody. Mike Gregoric. What's up, everybody?
Hey!
How does that work, by the way? How, can you have multiple kids? Because I just completely randomly, I was looking into Jerry Lee Lewis recently, and he's got 2 kids. One is a junior, and one is the third. But they're both his kids, which is weird to me. How do you do that?
They're both Jerry and Jerry? Jerry the second and Jerry the third?
Jerry Lee Lewis the second, and then Jerry Lee Lewis the third. They're separated by other kids, but yeah, and they may be with different women. I didn't look that deep.
That's mean.
Biographer?
I thought in Hawkeye's case, it was that there were 7 generations and that little kid was like the creepiest last one.
Maybe.
Is that not true?
It may very well be.
I think there were 7 generations, but when they said 7, I was confused because Armand the senior, we're spoiler alerting here, right? Who doesn't make it the whole into episode number 2? He's the third. So I don't. So that I don't understand.
Right.
There's a bunch in between.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that can't be generational. Then it has to be kids. It has to be kids. You know what I mean?
It is. I think like multiple sons name their kids after their dad, and then it's not a great name. I don't know why.
If you tune in and listen to us talk about Hawkeye, we're actually sponsored by 23andMe, and we're just going to talk about generational stuff. So, guys, did you watch the first episode, Never Meet Your Heroes?
Yes, I watched it. I'm not a monster.
Yes.
One thing that I loved about the tippy top of this was we get to see yet another point of view from 2012 of when the attack was happening. Agreed. Like, I am obsessed with seeing, because as someone that lived in New York City when 9/11 happened, it literally that sort of is a little triggering when I saw that little girl and the stuff outside her window. I was like, oh my gosh.
Now, did you live in a penthouse apartment like that during?
Yeah, I was 19 years old and I was a starving actress living in a penthouse. No, Kevin, I lived in Queens in a basement.
You would have survived better. You know what I mean? It was those tall buildings that got hit by the Chitari. Chitari? Was that
right?
Chitari? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we had Kate Mitchell, who, as a 10-year-old girl in 2012, witnesses the attack on New York, and she had just had a conversation. Her mom and dad had just had a fight. Her dad went to work, presumably in the house, right? It felt like in the apartment in the penthouse
office. Yes.
I feel like that's going to come back somehow, that her dad did some sort of something
Agreed.
that's going to be used. Like maybe he invented things, so that's how she gets some sort of really cool bow and arrow. I don't know.
Mike, I don't know if you've got that. It would be photo number one. If you pop that bad boy up, we immediately have a dead dad alert. If you watch our.
Let me just get that big on the screen for everybody. It's dead dad alert.
Oh, I thought you got snapped, Mike. I thought you got snapped out.
No.
So, Kristin and I, when we do the Remark shows for the Hallmark movies, every Hallmark movie has a dead mom, a dead dad, a dead wife, a dead this, that. So we
recently lost mom and dad.
Yeah,
they just go missing. I think there's an alien thing going on, but that's that. But for this, Mike, you're just going to keep a dead dad behind him the whole time?
I think I'm going to let rock it for a little bit until we get through these, yeah.
So, in the first 6 minutes of this movie, Kate's dad dies. However, if you go to IMDb, he's in 5 of the 6 episodes. So, take that for what it's worth.
Kevin, I didn't
And
know
my
that.
theory's correct.
Oh, everything we say is a spoiler or a potential spoiler based on our own assumptions and interpretations.
Also, I think you keep saying her last name is Mitchell. It's Bishop. Yeah. It's Kate Bishop.
It is, right? Why did I say Mitchell?
I don't know who Kate Mitchell is. They must be lovely, but Kate Bishop is the character.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it. I wrote down Mitchell, so I've said it multiple times, and now someone out there, it's going to stick, and they're going to be like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, this video's getting some thumbs downs on YouTube.
This guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
we all have so much to say.
I know. I was just gonna say I agree 100% with Kristin. Any time these shows have tied into the overall like movie verse, I think it's been like brilliant. It immediately gets me into it, and I'm like already just like so excited. I loved the 2012 though. Like really threw me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since the Avengers came out.
I
like,
know.
Yeah, but
well,
yeah,
Jeremy Renner on I think Jimmy Fallon the other night said that like when he signed on to do Hawkeye, it was so long ago, he joked that he better not be still doing this when he's 50 because no one wants to see a 50-year-old in tights, and he's 54 years old. And he's like, I guess they do. I don't know. I'm like, yes, we do.
It is also why they started covering him up more as Ronin. When he was the Ronin, it was like, just cover him up. No more spanking.
I don't know. He was dead sexy with that shaved side head.
Good. So, Kate
Bishop
is what we're saying.
Kate Bishop.
Yes.
Did you notice that when Kate Bishop was looking out and lived right across from Stark Tower, that the letters left were S-T-A, and I can only assume V, but from the distance she was looking at it, I thought it spelled stay. And I don't know if that means anything, because then I don't know, but that's me. I see words. So like I saw that immediately spelled out in the Stark Towers sign or whatever.
Is that your Haley Joel Osment thing? You see words? He sees dead people.
I see words. But the irony of it is I'm dyslexic, so I see words wrong.
Yeah. I don't know, because as we fast forward a little bit after the funeral within the first 6 minutes, and we then see Kate Bishop at school, she's at Stane Tower, which could be nothing, could be Obadiah Stane. I mean, there's potential for what is that, but that's not a real existing building in New York. So
right. And assumably she so the school was in New York. I didn't realize that. I thought she traveled. So that moment confused me when she like went to her apartment, which also was very
Connecticut, Kristin, perhaps up in the Hallmark areas.
My question though is her apartment was, she said, gifted to her or left to her? May I ask why an apartment?
She inherited it. I think she said I inherited it.
So why was an apartment that was so crappy inherited to this extremely rich, wealthy girl?
Do you think it was crappy?
I will say that, that actually is a pretty nice apartment, I think.
Well, okay,
multi-level,
it's
huge. I could see that being, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they found a cool apartment that they thought looked edgy for.
Yeah,
you know
I think it just wasn't what you'd assume. Like, it was like, because her furniture was like from the pizza place downstairs. Yeah. So I think maybe then they were trying to showcase her not caring for being rich her whole life. So that I'm here for.
Redesigned it in her own style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. But
There are schools. There are schools that it remind me of being from New York. Like a school that would be like in the upper, like Bronx or Yonkers. Like there's a couple
Okay.
schools like Manhattan College and Fordham that have that more not rural, but you know what I mean. That have that sort of out of the city feel. Still get
Yeah.
into the city pretty quickly on the train. That's
Gotcha.
just for all you New Yorkers out there. Some New York geography.
They're liking this video. They're all like, that guy knows
We're
what
like,
he's
we
talking
love
about.
New York.
So then we
so-
see Kate destroy the clock tower, the bell tower, because of a dare from her friends. She uses her archery skills and she takes out that tower with her second trick arrow, which was awesome to introduce trick arrows that quickly. Trick in the sense
Absolutely.
that a tennis ball was mushed onto the end.
Well, there was a tennis ball and then sort of like a clampy clamp. And then like she really had to get that, so that was a good shot.
It was cute. It was like
really good.
Yeah, it was like because obviously we're getting towards more of the he's going to take her under his wing and train her to be this superhero, and so it was I thought cute to see like her like rudimentary trick arrow. You know what I mean? And she made a joke about it. I know we're not at the second episode, but she made a joke about the trick arrows. We know from the trailers that trick arrows are going to come into play, so they're building up this joke. You know what I mean? Towards that, which I think is
And we'll mark every trick arrow as they come out. But yeah, to Mike's point in the second episode, Clint says to her, "There are no trick arrows. I have no trick arrows." And it's like, we know you have trick arrows.
Can we talk for at least a good 4 hours about Rogers the musical?
Yeah, boom, there it is.
Mike, duck down for a quick second.
Oh, I'm down.
This is Ant-Man-less. So I did put it in before Ant-Man comes running out.
That's amazing because I love that. That's what made Clint mad. Like Ant-Man wasn't even there.
But wasn't he there for the time heist? So that's like it's all.
Well, yeah, that's confusing. God. But my question is, if this was a Broadway production, I question their budget. I really question their budget. The costumes, the Hulks alone is something to be desired.
Well, the guy who I believe is playing Tony Stark's father, if I'm not mistaken, is that who's next to, would you assume that's who's next to Cap? Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Because, I mean, that seems, obviously they've got, the Hulk is in there, you see Loki in there, so it's modern, but, I don't know. But I thought when I first saw him that it was Neil Patrick Harris, and I was like, awesome cameo. And then it wasn't, and I was like, it should have been Neil Patrick Harris.
Missed opportunity for cameos, I think. This music.
So, do either of you know? Because this song is available on Spotify, which I have added to our a Hawkeye Christmas playlist that I have started. So any of the Christmas songs airing in our beautiful episodes of Hawkeye, I will be creating a playlist. And this song, the Steve Rogers song is out there. So do we know who did this? And was it just for that?
Based on the lyrics, I think it was written by Armin the Seventh. It was not.
No,
The
best line is, "Lord knows they're easy on the eyes," talking about Thor and Captain America. I love it. But they left halfway through, so we don't know how it ends.
Which is important. So Clint is obviously suffering from some PTSD, his loss of Nat. We find out, too, he's got his hearing aid in, which in the comic books, Hawkeye does have a hearing aid. We haven't really explored that in any of the movies, but he had turned it off. His daughter even says, "Dad, did you turn your hearing aid off?" And he turned it on. He goes, I don't need to hear it. I lived it. Yeah. So then he excuses himself because he sees a little girl wearing Nat's wig with the braid, and he goes into the bathroom. And written on the bathroom stall, Mike, you're in the way of the toilet.
There it is. I was on the toilet.
I get it, Mike. It's Mike, you were sitting the wrong way on a urinal. We're going to get letters. Thanos was right. And I wanted to be a smartass and actually Photoshop handed in there. But he's not right-handed. If you wear the gauntlet, it's on his left hand. So...
Kevin, I just really quickly, I now picture Kevin being the person who writes on all the stalls in the bathroom. I can see like you add like someone writes the like meet me here at blah blah, then you're the one who's like, oh yeah, like then you put a number. Yeah.
Every time it says your mom, I wrote it, and yes, it all says YOU''RE. Sorry, but you are a mom.
You are a mom.
Yeah.
So are we assuming? So I mean, obviously, we're assuming just someone wrote this because they believe the world would have been better if mass genocide happened.
Yes.
That frightens me, and that's a world I don't want to live in.
Do you want to live in a world with that font, though, Kristin? We know how you feel about fonts.
That's a handwritten. I don't like the W. I don't like when people do that with W's.
I like the N. I like the A. I'm not with you on this. I like that font. I'm saying it right now. I'm on the record.
But my assumption is, what if one of the people from Falcon and Winter Soldier wrote this? Or like, you know what I mean? Like in that, like I could see that world sort of like, obviously not the people that were against, but you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's a very political thing at this point in the Marvel universe. So it's literally someone like writing like "fuck Trump." You know, like, can I curse? We can curse. No one cares. But like, I feel like that's what this is that like this dictator? It's so
definitely. I agree with you, Chris. I think it will, if it doesn't play deeper into this series, which again Thanos is mentioned in the second episode as well. I would assume it is going to kind of be like permeate through everything. Obviously, it happened. So, and you do have people with different feelings. The funny thing was Clint shook his head in a way like, yeah, he was right, which probably because he's at this play that is terrible. Yeah. But also, it goes back to his PTSD, this whole concept that he wanted to sacrifice himself where Nat jumped in and sacrificed herself, and he's still coping with that. However much time later this is, which presumably is only a few months.
I think the interesting thing that all of the sort of like singular shows are doing is kind of making these superheroes real, and that the battles they were in, that when we first watched them, we're like, whoa, that's so cool. Oh, like realizing that these are soldiers, all of them, even though they have superpowers, but like really Clint doesn't. So he was literally like, you know, I like knowing the human experience sort of, and we got that a little bit from the Falcon sort of storyline as well. I think that's a really cool angle and an interesting way to tell these stories at this point, because we've seen so much superhero.
When in my gosh, WandaVision, when Monica Rambeau's episode, like her featured episode, when it started in the hospital and all the people started coming back, I got chills. I got chills because I was like, oh my gosh, we're seeing like the not, like you said, Chris, the not superhero side of things. We're seeing the real person side of things. And that's why it's so good in Hawkeye, because he's always been the real person, right? He's not the superhero. He's not the superpowers. So he's always been, you know, that kind of audience perspective, or that like, you know, any person. Which is why I think when Kate, and I think in the episode 2, is like, you're not selling yourself right, you're not branding yourself right. He's like, I'm not trying to, like, because I really do genuinely think he sees himself as like just a soldier, and like like, but I like that I'm glad she didn't say like, oh yeah, you should be in this cool outfit and this and that. She's like, no, you're selling inspiration. Like that's what you should be doing. And we joked earlier before we started recording that I cried watching a Hallmark movie. This did make me cry for 1.2 seconds a little bit. And it was when she saw Hawkeye for the first time, like as a little girl, like just saving, like just that.
Saving her. Yeah.
Well, just even knowing, like thinking back to like Clint back then and what they've all been through, I'm just like, this world really, like, I feel like I live in this world and I'm here for it. Like, I love it.
Awesome. So she witnessed that moment because it's the iconic moment in the first Avengers film where Clint is falling and firing the arrow, and she's witnessing it from her point of view, but we see her seeing it. So he falls through the frame out of focus in the foreground. It was brilliant. Awesome. See that,
and now he falls in many times throughout the entire MCU. That should be a whole segment. How many, you know, all of Clint
Yeah,
Barton's
it's-
falls.
yeah.
Shoots.
It's the hearing thing. His inner ear is messed up, so
Yeah,
he's very
okay.
dizzy all the time. So we also get Jack Duchesne and his whole family. If you're following comic books, it's the great possibility this is the swordsman. We go into the swordsman a little bit just for the comic books aspect of it. This guy trained Clint Barton. They're very unlikely to do that here because they're very comparable in age, and it just would be so weird and out of left field to do that. So they probably have no relationship, no knowledge of each other. But there is this secret auction, and at the secret auction, Jack is trying to buy the Ronin sword, which is an amazing piece that I don't know if I knew it was like the stiletto that it was.
Neither
where
did
it
I.
was
Yeah.
oh, so awesome. And he gets outbid by Armin III, and even jokes about how he'll eventually inherit the money, presumably the sword as well. And then the next piece that comes up is the Ronin's outfit. So all of this was scored from the Avengers Tower before it fell.
Yeah.
And in that moment there's a huge explosion, and that's where this group comes in, whom is that group that came in, was that the Tracksuit Mafia, or was it
Tracksuit Mafia, which now needs to be next year's Halloween costume.
Oh, yeah.
For everyone.
Oh yeah, you look like Jason Sudeikis from the
Exactly.
what's the name of that? Yeah, I forget the name of the sketch with
What's up with that?
What's up with that? That's it.
Oh, good. But the interesting thing is that Jack then did pick up the sword after the explosion and stuff, so
Yeah,
he
put it
does
on.
have it. He just
Yeah.
He
put
is
it in his
100% the swordsman. I know it's not going to follow the comic books, but I am.
Yeah.
He's got, if you know the comic book character, we don't have a picture right now. Oh yeah, he's got the exact
Mustache.
He's got like sort of the bravado. He's got the swords. Now I think they're obviously doing a misdirect, or it would be the most obvious
Agreed.
villain of all time. You know, like clearly he's not the one, but he does have an important part to play, I think, and will battle either for, I don't know which side yet, good or bad, but will fight I think at some point.
And that's the swordsman too. You know, he's very he's like Catwoman in a sense. It's very self. It's not good. He's not bad. He's going to do what's best for him.
I think Catwoman's a good example.
It's very unlikely that, and again, these are spoilers. So if you're watching, we assume you've watched this.
I think they stopped watching already. The fact that we told them who died in this episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was actually Kate Mitchell that died in this episode in the opening. So it is. They have a lot of red herrings in place that make you feel like Jack probably killed his uncle.
Sure.
I don't think he did. So because as Armin lies dead, he was stabbed with a sword. There is a bit with a candy that
I thought the butterscotch thing was a bit forced. I honestly did. I was like, there could have been definitely something a little simpler.
Yeah.
But
It's his uncle, and if he likes butterscotch, who's to say he
why
doesn't?
wouldn't he already have some? I don't know.
That part was my only complaint over the two episodes, was his acting or like or the direction of his character in that one scene.
In that moment.
Because it makes Vera Farmiga seem like the biggest like idiot in the world. That she wouldn't. She seems like a very intelligent woman. She's very smart. She's business savvy. She runs a tech company, a defense company, and she's not clued in at all to what's going on. Except if she's actually involved in it.
Right.
The red. She was literally wearing the red dress as if to say, it's going to turn out to be her, very likely.
Totally.
I did want to say, I found it so funny because Succession is so popular right now, and as this family it reminded me of Succession with like superheroes, which I would watch that. I would totally watch that. So
I do have a question though, because they were speaking about a watch that was going to be up next. I'm not familiar with this from the comics. Is this something we don't know yet? Okay.
No, it could have Stark tech in it. It could just be a watch. Okay. Nobody knows. But that was what they were going for. They weren't there for Ronin's sword. They weren't there for the Ronin outfit. They were there for that watch, which they got. They got in the end. So we'll find out. Well, maybe we won't find out.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's the maybe the watch is the red herring.
The watch
Or,
plant.
actually, the watch would be not the red herring. It would be the what do you call the object? The Maltese
MacGuffin.
Falcon, the MacGuffin.
Oh, MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got Armin's left and right. Actually, let's for the hell of it, let's bring up talk about
He's
Armin.
just been sitting behind me this whole time.
There he is.
Oh boy.
That little guy. He's just.
Oh, look at him.
He looks like Bruce Wayne. He has a little bit of a Bruce Wayne vibe going on.
He does.
It's Bruce Wayne meets Foggy. So if Foggy Nelson was a little boy and we were going to track him from the beginning, this would be him.
It's Foggy Nelson's haircut to the T. Like, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Aw, what a sweet kid.
I hope he did. I hope this kid planned all of it. I hope he.
I hope he killed his great uncle.
Yeah, mini Thanos. That would be fantastic.
That's the kid that wrote it on the urinal. It's him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the kid that wrote on the urinal. You're
You're
right.
That's how that little prick writes his W's.
Oh boy, oh boy. While he's holding his little baby pee-pee in the other hand.
All right. So
it's the night before Thanksgiving, Kristin. How dare you? So far,
I'm
you've
so
cursed
sorry.
and you've talked about little children's. Let Kevin. Where were you going to take us? Move on, please.
I don't know. But this is the beauty of doing this live. There are no edits. So
yeah, you should all know there. You won't find any cuts in this. This
is one take. It's all one take. So yeah, then I'll take us to. Haley Steinfeld is in her black tuxedoed outfit. She blends in with the staff at the auction. She ends up picking up the Ronin outfit, putting it on somewhere along the line. We never saw where. I always love that in anything where somebody finds an outfit that's skin tight and gets it on like that in the next shot, and you're like, okay.
It's big on her. It was a little big on her, but also Clint is so small. Like his son's taller than he is at this point. The actor they have playing his son,
right? Which is also problematic because his kid just came back from the snap and was missing for 5 years. He should not have aged that quickly because you didn't age when you came back from. They're just throwing it out there.
We're getting.
That's just a little
deep cuts.
So excellent fight scene, and I love the fact that the bottles that she was using to hit people with did not break because a bottle will almost never break if you hit a person with it. It will do what it was doing, which is it's a object that would like.
It made this like bonk noise, and I was like,
way more painful than a broken bottle. It was like, oh my, it's a concussion. Yeah. And then when they would hit the ground, they would break, which totally makes sense.
Yeah. But I think then we forgot to mention that before all this fight broke out, she had stepped outside, and that's where we met.
Well, she doesn't get that until after the fight, right?
Huh?
She doesn't get the dog until after the fight. Am I wrong?
She sees the dog for the first time, and the dog's just sitting out in the snow, and she's like, crazy people in there, huh? And then the dog runs away. This is my impersonation of that dog. I hope we're.
She sees the dog first,
Yeah. So actually, bring up number 5 there, Mike, so that we can.
And from an audience perspective, I already did transition to that slide, so they've seen it already. But now you get to see it. It's the dead dog.
No, it's not dead. It's just a one-eyed dog.
Oh, sorry.
But that dog's alive. Yeah. There are no dead dogs.
One-eyed dog alert.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
one-eyed dog.
If that dog dies, I'm out.
No,
I'm out. If they kill it, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Bring up, if you would, the next slide too, because this way we get to see
handle it.
Beautiful little doggy, and
he's really cute. He's a little dirty. Look at him. Look at his little eye.
But guys, here's just something I thought of. Now bring up the next slide, Mike. And I'm just saying, it's possible that we have a weird scroll situation.
Yep.
Oh my God. Did a Flurgan do that to the dog's eye?
No. Yeah.
Oh, it's possible. It's the same eye. What is it with my left eye?
Oh my gosh. Flurgan and oh man. All right. All right. Maybe it is. I mean, maybe what year is this? Where was Fury at the end of all of this?
I don't know. I mean, because again, this is now where we are in time is after the last Spider-Man film, and spoiler if you haven't seen that one, it turns out that everything you thought was Fury is not Fury.
Right.
And then there are theories if that's all playing into Secret War, which it most likely is, but does that mean we get Fury back until Secret
could he really be the dog? You know what's so funny when you sent me this picture? Because the whole time when the dog, I was like, this dog has something like going on. When she meets the first time, like he clearly was there to like fetch something and like bring something back to someone.
Yep.
Like something's going on with this dog more than just like, oh, it's a cute dog
There's
that
a
happens
dog.
to be around. I think if it's just a cute dog, that'll be a little weird because again, this dog overperformed.
No, I think this dog
Yeah.
clearly was on a mission with someone.
Yeah.
Well, so again, in Matt Fraction's comic, and who knows how much they'll deviate from it, because this is the structure of what they're using. Sure. In Matt Fraction's comic, that dog belonged to one of the mafia, one of the, I always want to say trench coat mafia. What are they called? The
Tracksuit.
Tracksuit mafia.
A lot less than a
So, and the dog's name at the time was Arrow. Arrow got hit by a car. This is all in the comic book. Clint picks the dog up, nurses it back to health, renames it because he's an archer. He doesn't want a dog named Arrow. So he renames it Lucky, but it also eats pizza, and it becomes known as the pizza dog, which is what Kate calls it. We already seen it eat like 3 pieces of pizza, and when she's hurt, she's using the pizza to help her wound, and that's what she's gonna feed. That's how she thaws. She doesn't have a microwave. This millionaire with this shitty apartment, no microwave. Nope. That's right. That apartment's gone because soon thereafter she is tracked down. Once she meets, oh no, that's second episode. Let's not get to that yet.
How long is our episode of these 2 episodes?
This is it. We're ending this because during all of this, the Tracksuit Mafia tracks her down, not to her apartment, and starts to fight with her. We see already her fighting in that one scene when the place is being robbed, when the auction house is being robbed. We see she can fight, but she's not a great fighter. So she gets hit, gets knocked down, gets back up again. Guys, if you're
knocked down, but I get up again.
If you're a regular Remark fan, there's a running inside joke here, but you guys really inside joke.
And Mike will play that song, and we get flagged, and they want to take our video down. So we just, if you know what it is, you know what it is. But that takes me back to the opening of the entire thing, the graphics that they use to show her training and getting better. She's an archer. She's getting bronze medals, hitting 3rd place, and she continually gets better. It's one of the best openings, not just for Marvel, but anything I've ever seen, because it was its own miniature episode. It told her origin and was excellent. And if that was the moment you went to pee or to thaw your pizza on your head, you missed it. Go back and watch it. It's incredibly important.
If you are a skip credits person or a skip, I get off of this channel right now.
Get off of this. You're in the wrong place.
No, you have to watch the first one. If you skip them after that, I don't care. Like, I don't know if you guys are watching the morning show on Apple Plus, but that opening is like 4 minutes long.
It's really long.
And there's nothing of value. I've watched it once, and every time I've skipped it since.
Well, it's like when you watched Game of Thrones, they started changing the landscape and stuff. So like that's why I do. And the other thing is, I think because particularly this opening is very graphic involved, and I really appreciate the folks' art and the animation that they did and the style that they do it. So as just a fellow artist, I will sit there and watch it because a whole team of people created that, and to skip past it is a dick move.
Well, and we've already seen, at least in this series, that I think they're gonna do different things every time. Because maybe not. Maybe it all follows suit on the second episode, but the first one we got the opening sequence. We didn't have that the second one. We just had the like arrow shot thing, the short.
Yeah, but they had a closing.
They had a closing, which seemed pretty unique for that episode. Like it fit.
Yeah.
Like I'd be surprised if they just like tacked that on to the end of everything. Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited. I think I also equally loved the graphic ending and the song choice. For whatever reason, at the end of the second one, it got me like really excited for like what was coming next. So far I've loved both the intro to 1 and the outro to 2 have been like spot on in my opinion.
And they did that with Loki too. Like I loved the song choice that they would have at the ending credits for Loki. It really just like capsulated that episode really nicely.
So
are we in episode 2 yet? I mean, we've been talking.
Before we do episode 2, it might be a good time, since we have Arrow the dog, who is now Lucky the dog, who is Pizza the dog, or the Pizza dog. Dog pizza? Dog pizza sounds good. I'd go with some of that.
Dog pizza.
Mike, we have a game that we were going to play.
We do have a game. Let's transition. I like to just kind of like let it play a second time. I got into it. I got into it. What would Thanos call his fish? That's right, Kevin and Kristin. It's time to play everyone's favorite made up today game show. Here's how it works. I'm going to give you a superhero and a pet, and you have to tell me what that superhero's pet's name would be. So, for example, Kevin gave a great comic book description of the dog Arrow, which Clint later changed, so it wouldn't be so spot on. But we're going to see if you can come up with some spot on names. For example, if Thanos had a fish, he might call it Snapper. Snapper.
I was thinking instead of Gamora, Ghidorah, because he loves Dora the Explorer.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, is this all Thanos' fish's name?
I don't know. That's the first thing that popped into my head. But give us another one. I mean, these are great.
Let me get out of here. I've got some photos to go with this. Shout out to the artist, and I had their name written down on a piece of paper, and I forgot. So let me try to get them. But these are some pets dressed as different superheroes that I found on the internet because I love the internet. But I want you to give me. There's no name, obviously, so I want you to tell me what name you would give this pet. All right. So let me get out of here so I can.
So whatever the pet is dressed as, that's whose pet it is. That's what we're
Correct.
Pretty vain. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Great.
So here we go. Pet number 1. What if? And we're not sticking just to the MCU, so just so you know.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if Batman had a dog? What if Batman? We'll start easy.
Yeah.
Batman had a dog.
Okay.
What would the dog's name be?
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Pearl because of the necklace that broke
Yes,
when his
very
mom
good.
got shot.
Very good. All right. And Kevin?
I'm gonna go with this is an aggressive dog, I think. So he's got to put I'm gonna go with the choker. The choker.
Okay, all right. Points for the pun for Kevin. But the deep cut, we always love to see Batman just cry about his parents. So I'm giving the point to Kristin on that one. 1 point.
Agreed. Bring back that dead dad alert, Mike. Bring back dead dad.
No, we don't have the tech for that, Kevin. But okay. All right, next up. What if Captain America had a turtle? What if Captain America had a turtle?
Ooh. My goodness. Wow. Kevin, you go first this
anyone
time.
Who wants to go.
I can't help myself. It's Cap, and I just think it's gonna be Bucky. It's just gonna be Bucky.
Oh, yeah. Everybody.
Okay, so interesting. I'm gonna name this turtle oh golly. Ooh, it's a deep cut for just it's gonna be Brooklyn. The turtle's name is Brooklyn.
I like that.
His name is Brooklyn because I'm sorry, actually, Captain America's Captain America is from Brooklyn. You're right, they fight for Brooklyn. Spider-Man's from Queens, but we're gonna have to go with Kevin for Bucky. Everybody.
Hey!
Let's be honest, everyone is Bucky to Captain America.
Yeah, but also Captain America is an old man, even when he's young, and he probably loved puns, so he definitely would name it Sheldon.
Totally.
There's just no two ways about it.
All right, the score is 1 Kevin, 1 Kristin. Next up, what if Green Lantern had a hamster? What if Green Lantern had a hamster?
I'm gonna go with because I'm going off the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern and that choice of film. I'm gonna name this hamster Big Mistake.
All right, I like it. Big mistake. Kevin?
This is a little blue, and I do apologize, but if he had a hamster and did some things that you really should never do with a hamster, but we've seen South Park episodes and other things.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but he named it after that, and as he was limping around, and named it I've Been Sore.
No.
Yeah, if you know Abin's sword, that's a phenomenal joke.
I'm having the same facial reactions that Kristen's having. You just can't see me because I'm hiding behind this hamster that may or may not have been in. Okay, so that's a point for Kristin. Point for Kristin.
Hey.
All right. Next up,
comments defend me on that one.
This one I went kind of heavy on DC here, weirdly. But all right, next up, all right, we have another fellow archer, everybody, another fellow archer, and one of Kristin I know's favorite animals. What if Arrow had a cat? What if Arrow had a cat?
Oh my goodness.
Green.
Let's see here. Arrow. Stephen Amell. I'm just going off the show right now.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Picturing Stephen Amell holding a little kitty cat. I think that he would name his little pussycat. God, why is this so hard? I think it's hard because it's a cat, and I love cats. Star. No, because it's not. Where's Arrow from? It's not Star City. It's.
Is he coastal?
Central City.
Central City, yeah.
Yeah. So this cat's name is Cece for Central City.
Okay, super cute, super cute cat name. Kevin.
I think because he has a very romantic ties to Dinah, the black canary. I think he's just going to name her simply Canary.
Oh.
Canary, and cats like canaries, and they're both C's. You know what? I'm going to give it to Kevin there.
No!
All right, it's a tie. We have to go to the tiebreaker, everybody. Tiebreaker question. We're spending a lot of time on this bit.
Yeah, this is fun.
Tiebreaker question. If Wolverine had a sloth, everybody. If Wolverine had a sloth. You asked for it.
I'm right out of the gate. I'm going with Claw, but spelling it with a K.
Oh, like the villain. Nice. All right.
That's probably the win, but I still, because it's a sloth and because it's Wolverine, I think it's going to be
What?
Berserker. I went Berserker, but very slow.
Oh, because of the sloth. I was like, Wolverine's not slow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this version
apparently is.
Wolverine is super fast, but Claw is super cute as a name. So we're giving it to Kristin. Kristin, you've just won the very first edition of... What would Thanos name his fish? Back to you, Kevin and Kristin. Hope you had
fun. That was fun.
Kristin won. She gets to say the F word and talk about a little pee-pee, but she's already done both those things, so no award. No.
Boy.
So we'll speed through episode 2 because we also watched episode 2, which is Hide and Seek. This is 5 days until Christmas now. So first one's 5 days. My question to you, Mike and Kristin, and anyone watching, is Clint, who made a promise to his kids to be home in time for Christmas, is he going to make it? Will he make it home in time for Christmas? Mike.
100%. I think that is like purposely there. We're all improvisers, you know, like some of the best move that you can make is to put like a time on something to allow for the immediacy of like the moment. And I think it's hilarious. I think it's going to be such a great sort of 24, like remind me of it. Die Hard. I got to, this Christmas sucks. Like I got to get home for Christmas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I'll be home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. Yeah. I think that is going to be the final episode. He's going to walk in. He's going to be bloody. He's just going to like throw his coat on the ground and be like, I made it. And it's going to be so good. So 100%.
I also agree 100%. I also think it's going to be a little like Con Air where like he gets his kid something and like holds on to it the whole time and it gets really dirty. And for some reason, I think Clint's going to be in a Santa suit at the end of all of this, but like dirty and bloody. And he has this gift. And I think he's going to like sign something to his kid because the kid was learning sign language as well. And that's 100%. If they don't, I'm out.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I don't have any in-depth stuff such as costume pieces or broken snow globes that they might have. I definitely think we'll make it home in time. But it feels like every episode is going to be another day.
Yeah.
So, in Hide and Seek, I want to point this out because, again, we keep going back to Matt Fraction, who wrote the comic that this is based on. Excellent comic. You can get the graphic novel. You should pick it up if you haven't read it. It really adds a lot to Hawkeye, who a lot of reviews I've already seen on this, everyone says he's like this boring character that they're giving life to, and it's like he's really not that boring.
Never been boring. I've never found him boring.
I think it's because he's not the free spirit that Tony Stark is. He's not the moral compass that Steve Rogers is. I was talking about it to my wife tonight, and he's the antithesis to Scott Lang, who I love. I think that Paul Rudd is amazing, sexiest man alive, 2021. Ant-Man is a great character, but he did a lot of things wrong, and he got caught for it. He went to prison for it. He lost his family because of it, even though he's now reconnected with his ex-wife. Mm-hmm. Matt Fraction's book, Clint's marriage is also falling apart. They don't seem to be doing that here, which is awesome. Because in the first episode, when he talks to his wife, he's got his kids in New York. I thought they were doing that.
Yeah.
The second episode, it became very clear that not only are they not doing that, but I forget what Linda Cardellini's character's name is, but she is aware of everything going on. She said, "Did you get the suit back?" And that means she knows he was the Ronin. Nobody knows he was the Ronin.
Exactly. And that also that he's keeping her appraised of the stuff that's happening. Yeah. I love that. Because if I married a superhero, I would really appreciate being just kept in the loop.
I think the Lois and Clark thing is played out. And I like that so much better that he is telling her, know. And then when he basically, part of Hide and Seek is he's going to get caught. He had a term for it, the catch and release. She says, "Oh, that's Nat's move." So again, we saw in the Avengers films that it wasn't just Clint that lost his best friend. His kids lost their aunt in Black Widow. His wife lost a friend. So this was an important person to all of them. And it's just awesome that they're following through with it.
To go off that of what Clint most likely has shared with his wife, I'm assuming he also shared that he was going to sacrifice himself, and then Nat sacrificed herself for essentially her and the kids and his family.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
So that to me is can I marry Clint? Can I?
So it's awesome that you say that too, sacrificing yourself too, Kristin, because we do see Clint does this awesome move because he's got to get the Ronin outfit. He goes, he takes, we picked this episode off exactly where the last one ended. He goes to Kate to save her from these guys that are beating her up. He reveals who he is. She reveals who she is. They go back to her apartment. And it's in that time that we start to realize, or he realizes, you've been followed. And that's when the 310 Mafia shows up. What are they called?
Tracksuit. It's a tracksuit, Kevin.
Let me write that down.
What was the group from? Who's the group from the early 2000s? 3-6 Mafia? No.
3-6. That's it. But yeah,
just call them Run DMC, because didn't Run DMC also just wear tracksuits?
They did wear tracksuits.
So,
are we at the point where we can talk about Clint LARPing? Because that's all.
Well, that's what we're getting to. Yeah. So the Molotov cocktail I want to talk about because it was such an amazing moment where the cocktail's already in the air. That the trench coat mafia can't do it, guys. The tracksuit mafia throws it. One of the guys. So Clint hits the window, catches it, and throws it back. It was awesome.
That was such a baller move, and I honestly. I don't think Cap would have done something like that. I feel you know what I mean?
He would have held the shield up and that's it.
Yeah.
I also love, I think this goes back to this sort of, every person side of things. I also love that the the villains in this so far are kind of bumbling and very class. I mean, the Russians were a little cliche, but whatever.
Seriously, bro?
Bro. I thought I actually was disappointed in the first episode is not the sentence I want to say, but I thought there was going to be more comedy. It actually took a little more time to set things up, which I thought was totally fine. I appreciated the comedy in the second episode. I thought I was oh, this is what we're going to get for the next 5. And I'm excited for it, or next 4 or whatever. but I love how bumbling they are, but also, you know, they're tough enough that they were clearly running this organization. And that was such a great moment. Not only the throwback, but then when they realized like their car's on fire, and then they were reflecting on the size of the fire and like being upset.
Yeah.
It's on fire. Oh, it was very funny. Very funny.
So great moments. The apartment catches on fire. Why they left the suit was really silly. At that point, they should have just grabbed it, but Clint says, we'll come back for it. And it's like that. What if it burns? And I guess his mind, if it burns, it burns. Who cares? It's gone. But they leave. Then he comes back later, and this is where he infiltrates, like steals a fireman's jacket, the helmet, goes in, looks around, can't find it. And then as he's leaving, he sees on the fire truck a LARP NYC sticker. So he looks that up, very savvy, and finds a fella who already has posted on his social media. So that dude left the fire. He was done.
That guy immediately
put it on. And then gave himself a little, hey, everyone, I'm going to be LARPing this weekend. So now,
again,
Kristin,
that's something someone would do. And that's what's so great about this series so far, I think. It's like, these are how people would if you found it, you wouldn't immediately put on a superhero suit if you found a legit one just on the ground.
Yes.
I don't know, Mike. It was still smoldering, though. It was like
I don't know. Anyway.
So he goes to a LARPing event. Kristin, would you like to continue? Because I know.
Okay, listen. When I saw that sticker, I was like, oh my God. So one of my favorite episodes of Supernatural is when they have to go find like a death of a person happened at a LARPing thing. So I love watching people that are like watching Dean Winchester have to go do LARPing, watching Clint have to go LARP. But just the sign-in registration moment alone. Great. But like when Clint realized, okay, what are the rules? Like when he asked the woman, you know, and then went and signed up. But I can't handle, because there was such an epic, like when he had to just like, he could have just walked through those people, but instead Clint took the moment to just like shing, shing, like to all these people. And it just made it, speaking of Game of Thrones earlier, it was very like when Jon Snow had to just like go through hundreds of these soldiers. And like, of course, Clint's going to make it through. These people are like firefighters on the weekends. So I think the lovely part in moments before we were talking about sacrifice is that, you know, to get my favorite part when Clint's like, he says, I could really punch you and you'll really hit the ground, or I can pretend to kill you and you can give me the suit. And the guy's like, or I can kill you and I'll give you the suit. And he agrees to it because he knows that like, this isn't, it's not a win.
It means nothing
like,
to him.
It means, like this isn't a real battle.
But
this isn't, So I think that also sort of makes him the everyman again of just like, all right, dude, you know, whatever. And I really hope that guy comes into play later on in another episode, because I just hope he like shows up or like does something. He's like, yeah, hey, Clint. Like, that's it. Like, I just need him one more time.
Again, the spoilers of reading IMDb is he is in more episodes. His character's name is Grills. Again, in the comic, he was actually friends with Clint. I don't know they're going to go that route. I'm not going to give you a spoiler that happens in the comics, but I think you could kind of suss it out. It doesn't end well for Grills, so who knows what will happen. But they don't always, again, his marriage is intact. They don't always adhere to what the comic is doing. Otherwise, we would all be able to figure everything out all the time. So,
I do have a question for both of you. Have either of you LARPed?
I have performed a character on the streets of a Renaissance festival.
Same.
So I feel like I'm like one step away. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I've done that.
I've done the character like fantasy, you know, in D&D, obviously. D&D before. So I've done the character side of it. I've never done the physical combat side of things. But
I will tell you guys, my LARPing connection is because I'm going to brag here. I used to do a web series years ago called The League, which was about two hitmen, and they have to go and kill somebody who is a LARPer. So they go to an event, and they have to kill a guy who is the Fright Knight, the second. So,
oh my!
Interesting.
Your work. Your
You can look that up.
So
Believe.
yeah, check that out, subscribers, if you'd like to see more work from Kevin.
But I
Check
think
out
maybe
Believe.
I'm excited that you're saying that Grills is going to be in more of these, but I hope nothing happens to Grills. So nothing's allowed to happen to Grills. Nothing is allowed to happen to the dog.
Yeah.
Anyone else, fair game.
Yeah, kill everyone else off. Clint, that's fine. We don't care. We got enough out of him.
Well, you know what? When you set the sacrifice theme, and the whole thing with Nat being brought up, I wouldn't be surprised now if they end the series with him going away in some fashion.
Yeah.
Whether it's dying or just actually like a fish. I think he has to die to retire, because you can see it. My favorite part of the LARPing scene was the look in his eyes, and this is a credit to Jeremy Renner as an actor, when he is over it, and then realizes, oh, I'm gonna kill like these guys. Like I'm you know what I mean? He knows he's no matter how hard he tries. Yeah.
When he does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so good. And he, even at the end when he gets defeated, you could tell he's annoyed. You know what I mean? And he's got this thing where he knows no matter how hard he tries to pull out, he's always gonna get pulled back in. And does he actually sacrifice himself for his like family at the end, knowing that Kate will protect them, and you know what I mean, and things like that. I don't.
If you want to see a continuation of this actor essentially playing that, I know Chris and I have both seen. I don't know if you have, Mike, but Tag is an awesome and fun movie, and that is exactly who his character is.
Totally,
yeah.
Totally.
Oh my God. I take it back. Grills, the dog, and Clint are not allowed to die. I will be so mad.
Yeah.
They'll leave it open. They'll leave the series open, but I don't see it not in his future.
Yeah, no, he's not immortal. He will not live forever. So then he gives himself up, allows himself to be captured. Katniss Everdeen comes in to save him. Kate Bishop comes in to save him. Crashes through the glass.
Wait a minute.
That was my favorite joke. That was probably one of
my favorite joke.
Yeah.
It's a great joke. They should not have shown that in the trailer. In the new trailer,
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Yeah. It's a good joke.
Yeah.
Carry on, Kev. So Katniss comes down.
Yeah, she crashes through, which is a great moment too, because it's very light. Like Mike's saying, there's a lot of comedy played here. And there they are, the tracksuit mafia. Got it that time, guys.
Woo!
All with guns, and there she is with a bow and arrow. And he is, we assume, tied, but then find he's not tied, and at no point was he ever any threat. Then they are retied, and at that point, it is said she wants them alive. Makes us wonder, who is she? Is it, say your name, Mike, Famika?
Vera Farmiga? Wait, what?
Vera Farmiga, yeah.
She's outstanding. I love her.
Great.
So good.
But then we are revealed at the very end to this other character, which is Echo, who is getting her own series. She is a character who is deaf, played by an actor who is also deaf, which is fantastic. And that is where we leave the end of episode 2 going into episode 3.
I didn't know that character, let alone the actor, was, deaf. So this is interesting. Is this something that's Clint's going to be able to easily, sign with her then, since he's sort of,
learning it?
That to me is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the first thing,
if you remember, the one guy was, I can't do it, but the one guy was signing to her too, and she was feeling the speaker. The character is deaf. She's very similar to Rogue in the X-Men in the sense that, but Rogue has to touch you. If she touches you, she can absorb your abilities. This superhero or villain, or she's able to actually watch you. And in watching you, she can learn. So if you are an amazing archer, she can watch you and learn that skill immediately. And then she also will become an amazing archer. So Echo could be an amazing character for this series, her series, and then going forward in the MCU.
Oh, I want to be that hero.
How great.
That's cool.
That's all of us who are like, man, I really wish I learned to play guitar better. Well, if you were her, you could.
Oh, man. I will.
It's like task mastery a little bit too, right? Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah.
But hopefully they won't, do nothing with this character.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
That was I mean, overall,
yeah,
I'm very pleased with the series thus far. I'm very excited for the humor to keep up, because what I'm enjoying is just Jeremy Renner's addition to his humor when he started kind of discovering it in Age of Ultron and then moving forward. And now I feel like the actress like Haley, like that they cast, really goes well along with Jeremy Renner's sort of dry humor, and hers is also sort of like that, because I've seen her in like the Pitch Perfect movies and the one with Woody Harrelson. I forget what that one was. She was a teenager that had troubles in high school, but she was very funny in that, and I think it carries over in the two of them. I hope there's a moment where they get to like do a stakeout and it's like very buddy cop moment for them. Like I kind of want to just see them sitting in like, that would be delightful.
Well, we see also in the trailer, if you watch trailers and try and suss out what'll happen, they are in the car in that one scene where but it does feel like they were probably in it for a while. They didn't just jump in the car.
Right.
So there's a very good chance you will get that, Chris.
The trick arrow scene.
That's the trick arrow.
I try not to watch all the trailers because I want to watch the things for the first time.
It's nice to go backwards, though. So I did it today. So if you watch these 2 episodes, go watch the trailer and watch how they splice things together to make you think something, and then you already know, and you're like, "That's not
Marvel." Marvel is the master of trailers. They will. I mean, we all know if we can have a whole hour conversation on Spider-Man. But no, I think the trailers actually did a really nice job of showcasing the fun and leaving out the details. Like already, this whole plot with the arts dealer, and you know what I mean. Like I had no idea that was a thing. You know. Unless you really read synopsises and read the comic, you know, like you said, Kevin. So I actually think they did a really good job. And Kristin, to piggyback off you, I want even more of the silly, fun 90s action movie. I want more Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, and you know what I mean? Because I think they can pull it off. I think Haley and Jeremy can pull it off. And I don't know what the budget for this series was, but clearly it's big enough. You know what I mean? And so I think
it's got to be something. You know?
I think but I also like the grittiness of it. I think that adds to it. And so I'm excited to see, just more fun. I'm excited to see how they get out. What I won't be excited for is if they take too long with certain things. Like if they're trapped for too long in the next episode. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, come on. These guys clearly can get out. You know what I mean? Let's get out. You know what I mean? Type of
and I don't think they will, Mike. Like the thing I really liked about this was that Disney Plus, I know they've been doing this with the series thus far, but they aired both the first and second episode together. They released them together, rather, because it felt like one long episode that way, and it evened itself out. Had they not done that, to Mike's point, when we talked about the first episode, I definitely felt like they set stuff up and did a great job with it, but in my mind I didn't care because I knew I had another 45 minutes when this ended that I could watch immediately. And if they hadn't done that, I don't know how I would have felt. So as we go forward, we get one episode every Wednesday through the rest of December. So we'll see how they continue with that.
Thank you for watching all of this, everyone watching. We know it's a long one, but it's 2 episodes worth. 2 episodes.
2 episodes. You can't help it.
So let's end with this then, Mike. Mike posed this question to Chris and I, and we will do this continually as we go through, is a little bit where we talk about, Mike already talked about Die Hard, he talked about Lethal Weapon. These are movies that take place around Christmas time. So how Christmas is it?
How Christmassy is it?
Oh!
Yeah!
You love those, man. They go right back in.
How Christmassy is it?
So what are your thoughts, guys? How Christmassy? Let's break real fast. We'll break them out. Let's separate them. The first movie versus the first episode versus the second episode. How Christmassy?
Oh man, music alone, hopping. It sets the mood perfectly.
Did you feel one over the other, first over second, or second over first, or just?
No, I thought they were pretty even, Steven, to be honest. And I think that this countdown to Christmas is just going to get more and more. I really hope they start fighting with like giant candy canes. I know that sounds really cheesy.
No, I agree. Yeah.
No, do you know what I mean? Like, I hope they start finding, or like they zip down on like, like I want them to use Christmas in this as much as possible. Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, first episode, 100%. I wrote down snow, music. New York is also like very iconically known for like its Christmas season. You know, if you've seen all the movies, the songs sprinkled throughout Rockefeller Center, the Empire State Buildings, red and green. I actually like was very like surprised. I was like, oh, like there was more than just B-roll. Like I think they actually shot some stuff during last holiday season, which is impressive that it's taken so long to come out. The second one, I'm gonna give that 10 mistletoes or something on Christmas Eve. The second one, I'm gonna dial back a little bit. I think some of it felt a little bit tacked on. I was like they could have shot that benefit scene in any place and just put some Christmas trees up. It felt very set decorated, still very Christmassy, but a little bit more like production value Christmassy. Whereas the first one felt like they were outdoors in New York City during Christmas, or during the winter,
I would agree. The first one, just to give you some math, had 8 Christmas songs in it. The second one only had 6. I mean, not a lot less, it's 2 less. It snowed almost the entire time they were outside in the first one.
Yep.
But I think one of the biggest pieces was Clint sits with the kids when they're in the restaurant and he said, let's do Christmas stuff. And we're going to make gingerbread houses. We're going to watch a whole bunch of Christmas movies. There was another thing. I don't remember what it was. And they talk about seeing the tree.
Ugly Christmas Sweaters, the other son.
Yep. So like real Christmassy. And the second one is almost, he's sent his kids home, and when he calls his wife, they're building the gingerbread house. So he's kind of removed from Christmas, and I would not have a problem if they do that where it's like Christmas is slipping away. I don't know that that's deliberate. I don't know that it's not. So to Mike's point, I will give 10 mistletoes to the first one, and I think I'm probably around 7 on the second.
I'm all in on Kristin's. Like it better get hijinksy. Christmas hijinksy.
I want so much Christmas hijinks.
Punch a Santa, steal his suit because he's got it's dirty at the end. That just really. And then it becomes kind of that larger nerd conversation of, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie? Is Hawkeye a Christmas series? You know what I mean? And that's
I already say yes, Hawkeye is a Christmas series.
I agree. I think it is as well.
Yeah. I'll add this to my I've just added the Ted Lasso Christmas episode. I will add Hawkeye as my Christmas viewing every Christmas season.
Awesome. Well, that's it, man. So again, every Wednesday they will be streaming these episodes. We will do ours soon thereafter. I think we're going to try to get these out by Fridays this week because of the holiday. We were able to do a little earlier, so we'll see how we retain that. You can tell us your thoughts of Hawkeye, of Hallmark movies, of this show, Remark. The fact that I was calling Kate Mitchell. You can email us at remarktheshow@gmail.com. Tell us what we got right. Tell us what we got wrong. Ask us why the hell's Mike's name not in the theme song. I don't know. Guys, is there anything you guys want to plug while we're signing off here?
Mike, what do you got?
I want to shout out to that amazing artist that did those mashups of the superheroes. I wanted to mention them. It's Siraj Sarohi is a fun Instagram artist, so follow them on Instagram. Some really cute and really fun mashups there that they did that I stole. So I just wanted to make sure to give them
thank you for that
credit. Otherwise, you'll see me here each and every week with 2 of my favorite people, Kevin and Kristin, on Remark.
I guess I can pitch that. I'll be talking Hawkeye again on a podcast called All Snap. So you can check that out. That's through Crossroads Theater. And always check out things at comedysportsphilly.com.
See you next week. Oh, I guess, Remark. Watch Remark. I do a podcast. Both Mike and Chris have been on that. Mike, I'm going to get you back on soon. And you can listen to that Punch Up Podcast at soundcloud.com.
Bye.
It's been a long